Hello, welcome back to Shakesyear. We are still working on Henry VI Part 2, and today we get to hear from the king himself, kicking off Act 2, Scene 3. So some things that are going on. A bunch of people are trying to undermine Humphrey, who has been the protector of the king for quite some time, including pretty much all of the other dukes. Queen Margaret hates Eleanor, who is Gloucester's wife, so there's that going on. Eleanor, who's Gloucester's wife, held a seance, and we got some prophecies about the king and a couple of the dukes, and then they got arrested at the end of that seance. And yesterday we got to hear from the Duke of York, who was wrapping up a genealogy lesson, saying that he really does deserve to be on the throne. He has a better claim to the throne than Henry does, and Salisbury and Warwick are on his side. Also, if we go back a little ways, there was an armorer named Horner and his apprentice, and his apprentice was like, hey, I heard my master say that the Duke of York has a better claim to the throne. So the Duke of York is a little bit under suspicion at this moment. And in order to settle that whole thing, they decided that at some point the armorer and the apprentice were going to have to fight to see it, sort of a like trial by arms type thing. Whichever one wins means either the Duke of York is guilty or he's not. So today, to kick off Act 2, Scene 3, we are back in court, and it is the king and the queen come in, and everybody that was at the seance comes in. They are all guarded heavily because what they were doing was very illegal back then. And the king starts off the scene saying, "Stand forth, Dame Eleanor Cobham, Gloucester's wife. In sight of God and us, your guilt is great. Receive the sentence of the law for sin, such as by God's book are adjudged to death. You four, from hence to prison, back again, from thence unto the place of execution. The witch in Smithfield shall be burnt to ashes, and you three shall be strangled on the gallows. You, madam, for you are more nobly born, despoiled of your honor in your life, shall, after 3 days open penance done, live in your country here in banishment with Sir John Stanley in the Isle of Man." So Eleanor is now banished to the Isle of Man, and the other people that were helping her out with the seance are going to be killed, which, okay. So she goes off to start prepping for her banishment, at which point Gloucester's like, oh crap, like my wife kind of sucked. And they're like, oh, by the way, you don't really need to be protector anymore because the king is old enough to look out for himself, so give us your staff. And he's like, this staff that I've had for a really long time? Okay, take it, and I'm gonna leave now and go over there. So he leaves, and he's not too happy. And then they bring in, this is why I brought it up, they bring in the armorer and the armorer's apprentice and say today's the day that they are supposed to fight. But both of them have been getting terribly, terribly drunk, so the two of them fight, and the armorer is killed after like one hit. So the apprentice wins, which, like the trial by combat thing, sort of means that the Duke of York is guilty. So that wraps up Act 2, Scene 3, and we'll see how all of the rest of it shakes out. Well, some of the rest of it. We still have a ways to go with this one, and tomorrow I think we're just in Act 2, Scene 4. So hang out, tune in. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see what the next piece is.